coming into Townsville, Australia. Good morning. Welcome to Townsville, Australia. Today's excursion is called Charters Towers, a step back into Australia's golden age. It's 7.5 hours long. 2-hour bus ride each way. We cross the mountains into the outback. Charters Towers is an old mining town. So we get to see how they used to mine the gold and process the gold and everything else. May get to see some wildlife in the outback. Just don't guarantee it, but they say we may see some. Then we have lunch, do a little bit more touring in the town, and come back. Sounds very interesting. Come along with me. In group 10 today, back in the theater, just waiting for the call numbers. Okay, number 10, we're on the way.
Hey everybody, how are you? Do we all talk English? Do we don't talk English? Because I don't talk anything else but Queensland. I don't talk anything else but North Queensland. I'm going to get going in a minute. I'll introduce our driver down the front. His name is Ron. We have about an hour and a half to Charters Towers or so. Became the richest goldfield in Queensland. On the road between here and Charters Towers, our main wildlife are kangaroos and wallaby, which are Australian native animals. You may also see cattle. It's a big cattle producing area up this way. You may be lucky to see Australia's native dog called the dingo. "900 metres long. The bridge itself is 14 metres above the riverbed level. This time last year, the water was 20 feet. So what's that, 6 metres or so, 7 metres above the bridge. There it is. That water is heading down to where they call the Vertican Falls, to where there is a dam. The dam has been overflowing now for weeks, and that water is just running straight out to sea. On the other side, Ron, there's a marker post where you can pull up, and there's a flood marker post where you'll see the levels at the highest level, which was in 1946, and the water was 72 feet high. Richest goldfield in Queensland. It is still the richest goldfield in Queensland. Nothing has become more gold than what was pulled out of here. 200 tonnes of pure gold. 200 tonnes of pure gold between 1872 and 1916. Worth back those days 28 million British pounds. Centenary Park, and there are statues of the original explorers, Mossman, Clark and Fraser, along with the young Jupiter, that originally found gold here in Charles Towers. It was built by a mining company. It was then turned into a hospital for the town, and then it was then became the American Service People Hospital during World War II, and is now back in privately owned. It's called Mount Alma. And this nunnery was built back in the 1880s. Beautiful building. It's still the school today. For those who didn't see the monument, there it is. That's where they first discovered gold. Back in 1904, there was a mining fire here where 11 miners and one rescuer got killed. The proprietor of this hotel was Bridget Clancy, and her brother-in-law was killed in the mining fire. Bridget was then upset. She drank 3 glasses of strychnine poisoning and poisoned herself. Venus crushing plant, built in 1872. I won't steal John's thunder, he'll be your guide when we get there.
The Venus mill, when it was built as a commercial mill, which meant they'd mill anyone to ore. So what they used to use, they used the weighbridge to keep track of what came to site. What happened is you turn up your backyard onto the weighbridge, you'd go. Tally officer record the weight on the scales in the shed, then make your way around the roadway to the back to unload your material. Your buggy or cart would then come back to the weighbridge and be re-weighed. One weight would be taken from the other. The difference is the material you've delivered. That's what they charge you on, a flat rate of so much per tonne. Based purely on the weight of the rock. Had nothing to do with gold content or gold recovery. It was just on the weight of the rock you brought in. It was your job to make sure you have gold in it, not them. They're going to bill you regardless. We talked before about the ore being brought to the mill. These are the hoppers at the back here that you dipped into. Feed from those hoppers down into the jaw crusher. The jaw crusher's job is to turn big rocks into little rocks. 2 metal plates squashing together. As the little rocks fall out the bottom, the bucket elevator would scoop them up, take them and put them in the bins above our head. There's 7 bins in the row. Each one will hold 90 tonnes of rock. The ore was never blended or mixed here at the mill. Each person's ore was kept separate, because at the end they gave you the physical gold contained in the rock. So if they had blended or mixed, you bet that would start the fight. They would hop it down to stampers. 5-inch stamp factory, one of these, operating at half volume. There was 35 head of stamps here on the mill operated at full tilt, and that was 4. Stamp when it's operating must have water. Takes 7 tons of water to 1 ton of rock. Water's dropped in, rocks dropped in, stamps are banging up and down, splashing against the screens. Left-hand screen's removed so you can see inside the stamp box. Stampers crushed it down to the grain size of sugar. Give you an idea how fine they ground it to. Sands have come through the screens and run across the copper plates. When we're operating, the copper plates will be covered with mercury. The mercury is poured out, spreads out, adheres to the copper plate, makes a big shiny sheet like a mirror. As the sands wash across the plate, the gold sticks in the mercury and stays there. Gold likes mercury very much, but mercury will only collect free gold. It's gold you can physically see. If you can't see it, mercury won't collect it. So for those reasons, these plates here would only get us about 25% of our gold. What happened to the rest? Off down the chute it would go. The Whiffley table shakes backwards and forwards continuously. Has water running over the whole table. As the sands drop down onto the table, they run over the riffles. As the sand runs over the riffles, the heavy particles get stuck in the riffles. Light stuff drops into the trough, finds its way out the back where it's allowed to settle. We then bring the water back up to the mill for reuse. The heavy particles get stuck in the riffles, make their way along till they get to the end. The water washing down puts them in a nice little line off the end of the table in the trough, from the trough into the sump. Material we collect here on the table is called concentrate. About 4 or 5% of the total volume that comes onto the table is all we collect. We're only collecting the heavy fraction, the bit we hope contains the gold we've missed earlier. So after we've managed to get a bit of concentrate in our sump, our next job is got to get some technology. Help us get it out of the sump so we can treat it further. Got to get the shovel. The Dan pans rotate. They're used for fine grinding. They have water running into them continuously. We drop our concentrate in, shovel full at a time. As the particles get ground finer, exposing the bits of gold, the mercury in the pans collect those bits of gold for us as well. The Dan pans grounded down to the grain size of flour. They were painfully slow. They only did about 4.5 kilos an hour. After our pans have ground all our concentrate, our next job is just to collect up our mercury, then separate the mercury from the gold, thereby achieving our prime objective, gold recovery. So we collect up our mercury and bring it over to our retort. We put our mercury in our retort, push the retort over to some heat provided from underneath wood fire. As the retort heats up, mercury vapour comes up the tube and along. That condenser is attached up onto there. Mercury vapour enters the condenser. Condenser cools the vapour down, turning it back into liquid mercury, collected in our bucket for reuse. After the retort's been on the heat a couple of hours, we come and have a look. No more mercury dripping in my bucket. So I pull the retort off the heat. I let it cool down. I'd open it up, and inside we'll have what's called a lump of sponge gold. Imagine a big pile of golden coloured sugar. That's just what it looks like. It's all little specks of gold sitting there in a pile. Because all we've done is just heated enough, made the mercury go away, leaving everything the mercury's collected behind. But sponge gold's fragile. If we squished out it, little bits of gold would go everywhere. So we take our lump of sponge gold up to our assayist, and he'll turn it into what's called a doré bar. It's a bar of gold containing gold and other metals. You'll probably need 2 hands. Now if that was gold, it would weigh twice that. That's half the weight of gold. That, if it was gold, 20 kilos. That only weighs 10. And if it was gold, it would be $4 million. After the assay had produced the bar, we test it, work out how much physical gold's in it. The miner would then take possession of the bar, trudge off to the local bank. The local bank manager would check the weight of the bar, make sure nothing's fell off in transit. I don't know how something falls off a solid bar of gold in transit, but apparently it did. The miner would come back and pay his bill at the mill. If he had any left over, it'd be his good fortune, because the mill's idea was to get all his money. He used to get 3.5 quid an ounce back then, $7 an ounce. The process we've just described, at best got you about 50% of your gold. What happened to the rest? Up the back is tailings. In 1892, a process called cyanidation came into use at the Venus Mill. Took the recovery from 50% to 95%. Revolutionised the mining industry. Just for no more effort and a bit of shoveling, they got another 45% of the gold. It just revolutionised the mining industry. But it caused absolute chaos in the region. Because for 20 years they've been chucking the rubbish down the creeks. All of a sudden the rubbish had a value. The other miners thought they'd all claim it at once. It just was chaos. The field was 6,600,000 tonnes for 6,600,000 ounces of gold. The field averaged an ounce to the tonne. It's the only one in Australia that's ever averaged an ounce. Historically. That's the entire field. This was the first bank of vats they put in 1892. What happened is the sandstone battery brought up, put in the vats. They'd put in some lime to manage the pH. They'd put in a 5-pound brick of cyanide in each vat. The cyanide would dissolve into the water. That solution would then permeate through the sands, dissolving the gold. After 8 to 10 days, they'd drain that solution off. They'd run it through a box that contained metallic zinc shavings. The zinc would cause the gold to precipitate into the box as a sludge. They'd then collect that sludge, dry it and smelt it to make another gold bar. And up the back, the vats were built in the 1950s. Instead of taking 8 to 10 days, they took 1 day. They got stirrers, mixers in them, got the oxygen through for the chemical process to only take 1 day. Still use zinc to recover the gold. Cyanide used in the mining industry was man-made. Yeah, it does occur naturally in nature. Not in the volumes the mining industry need. They use thousands of tonnes of it. So it's all man-made. The other thing with cyanide is it's non-residual. There's no cyanide in here. Hasn't been any for a really long time. Cyanide, when you discard in the natural environment, breaks down. It's a process that takes as little as 1 day. It takes a maximum of 14 days. Done, finished, gone forever. Breaks down to carbon and nitrogen, 2 of the commonest elements on the planet. But I do not recommend you eat it. It will not do you. From living to dead's about 3.5 minutes flat. You'll be unconscious within 50 seconds and dead 3 minutes later. It's seriously toxic. But if you don't ingest it, it won't kill you. Plain and simple. They didn't kill anyone here, would it? Because they weren't silly enough to eat it and drink it. You do have to ingest it. We'll make our way around to the boiler house.
Well,
Creek. Right there. Gladstone Creek. No shortage of water. That's why the mill's here. Because there's water. No water, no mill. The Venus Mill, when it was built, was steam powered. Back in the 1940s, they converted it from steam to electricity. They stuck one of the boilers up in the air as a water tank. It didn't operate as a boiler up there, just a water tank up there. They lived around in here, the boilers. Make yourselves comfortable.
Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, if it has been helpful or informative in any way, please like and subscribe to help grow the channel. If you have questions or suggestions for improving future videos, please leave a comment. Until next time, hoping you have clear skies and calm seas.